Raday, Leavy.
Question is, why don't other countries like America? Okay. Um. Oh man, I need an hour to be honest with you. I need an hour to properly go through and talk the shit I need to talk about this. Um. But look, man, a lot of it is jealousy. I mean, look, man, as far as we go, like, we're the shit. I mean, overall, I mean, in our athletics, like, we're the biggest, strongest, you know, Olympics is coming up. We dominate Olympics. I mean, that's just what we do. Uh, you know, I mean, for what it's worth, we got the biggest, strongest black people, so that helps us out a lot, right? Um, but I mean, for what it's worth, like people don't. I mean, because this is the land of prosperity and all this other kind of good stuff. But I mean, for the worst part about it, like that's the Republican answer, right? But it's not so much all that; it's how we carry ourselves. Like people can tell us all day their own country's history, and they can tell us our history, and we can't even tell them our history. Right? I mean, there was a revolution and there was a civil war, and but you can't, you don't know who General Lee was or Patton or none of the other. I know Abe Lincoln freed the slaves. That's about it. Like, there's people that can tell you the generals and all this other, and you're just like, hey, fuck it, I'm here, right? I mean, we're just so nonchalant with it. I mean, well, I forgot what movie it is. I think it was one of those, not Spike Lee, Michael Moore, one of those Michael Moore movies, where he said like we're like 17th in like math, we're like 25th in like science and shit, but we're number one in courage. Like we're we're like that. Honestly, we're like that dumb rich kid that just gets whatever the fuck he wants to get for no, I mean, of no merit of his own. Like, and as a generation, we inherited what previous generations did. So it's like we're sitting on daddy's money. As far, I mean, it's just, you know, we're sitting on daddy's money, and we walk around like we started the business, and that is very annoying. That's annoying as far as people goes. It's annoying as far as the country goes. Um, we're that country. I mean, for what it's worth, like, okay, let me put it this way: we're that country that will send a fat white man overseas to feed skinny black children. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, essentially, like everybody's seen it. That big old fat white man got a big old like a skinny pot belly black baby sitting on his lap, talking about for 25 cents a day you could feed this little nigger baby and da 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 da. And it's like, look, fat white man, like not you specifically, but look, fat white man, like you're the reason why he's hungry. Right? You keep eating up all the food. Like, you keep eating up all the resources. Like, what you think Africa was meant to be poor? Africa's the richest continent, right? It is the richest continent on the earth. That's why everybody's there. That's why Arabs are there, Asians are there. That's why it's been invaded more than any other continent by other peoples, because it's the richest. So, going back to the whole, how do we fix things? Stop fucking with it. Stop fucking with Africa, but at the same time, I mean, who's gonna leave? I mean, who's gonna leave that? Who's gonna leave those diamonds? Who's gonna leave that oil? Like, who's gonna leave? You know, But that's all. That's a whole other topic. But I mean, we're that country. We're that country that does that type of shit. Like, I had a health teacher in college that was, I mean, fat as I don't know what. Dude was telling like me about diets, and if I didn't get it right, like obviously I got an A, but like if I didn't get it right, like I could possibly like fail that class. It's like, dude, for real, that's the kind of country we are as a people, you know. Overall, I mean, we're I don't know if this is the case, but we are perceived as being very lazy. We're the fattest country. Right? We're not only, it's not that we're like just the fattest country. We're the fattest country, but we have more diet plans. We have more Bowflexes than any other country on this earth. Like, that's why people don't like us. You know? Another thing is well over like 80% of like people in this country, like people think atheism's on the rise or whatever, but like well over 80 or like 90% of people in this country believe in a higher power, and yet we conduct ourselves like we are just godless, you know. And as far as, you know, other people, I don't care, but as far as other people are concerned, right? Like, everybody in here believes in a God, but like nobody's willing to do shit for anybody else, pretty much. But here's a little tidbit. Just the name, just our name, like we say we're American. That in itself is pretty fucking ballsy. It's pretty presumptuous. Like, just think about it. What is America? America is a continent. No, not only that. America's not a continent. America is two continents. No. Let me take that back. America is not a continent. It's not two continents. It's a whole fucking hemisphere. It's a whole Western hemisphere. North America, South America. And what do we call ourselves? Americans. I don't know the numbers on it, but you know how many countries there are? How many territories? How many lands? From North America to South America and everything like that. And we just say, yeah, well, we're Americans. I mean, even our name is pretty lazy. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, United States. Well, you know what United States are? United States is what we call a country. When states unite, they become a country. And then they build up, and then they make a name for that country. Like, look at Canada. They have different territories. Matter of fact, that territory, that Ontario and all this other kind of good stuff, like Winnipeg or whatever, like, those territories should be called states. I mean, territory is like something that you own. A state is something that you like cooperate with. They can't even call their land masses states because we call ours states. But look at Canada. They have all these territories which are states, and then they come together and they say, okay, well, we're one, so let's think of a name for ourselves. Well, let's call ourselves Canada. Okay, same thing with Mexico. Same thing with all these other countries that have actual names. It's like we just got together and said, well, you know what? We're United States. Okay, you want to think of a name? Nah, we're cool, man. We're just going to stop there. We're just going to be United States. Well, what about all these other countries that have... Fuck them. We're United States. That's what we are. Really? Of the United States of America. But America's a whole... It's a whole... Yeah, I know. Fuck it. It don't matter. We're United States of America. Are you sure? You sure you don't want to think of a better name? You sure you don't want to think of a name? Like that is a title. Like that is not a name. Like this is a chair. Like you want to think of a name for that chair? Like that's like naming a dog. Right? Okay, I got a dog. You want to name it? Nah, I'm just gonna call it dog. You sure? You want to think of a better name? No. And you know, just that in and of itself, like we just. Oh, but you know what, man? I love it. I wouldn't want to live nowhere else, man. I love this country. We the best. And with that, I'm going to go on to the next one. I'm out.